At 10:45 p.m., we received multiple 911 calls, including ambulance personnel, people around Trinity Hospital, that there was a man waving a gun outside. Officers responded. They did engage that individual in gunfire. He's an adult male. He's been declared dead at a local hospital. Michigan State Police are on scene conducting the investigation. And that's just about all we have for now. But if you guys have any questions, I'll tell you if there's anything else I can give you.
How old was the man?
He was in his late 30s. So we have not notified this individual's family yet. I will say, like I said, late 30s, adult male. Not sure if he's a resident of the city. Still trying to piece that all together. Early in the investigation, and of course, Michigan State Police are going to take the lead. The facts of this case very, very strange, just because so many people called. He's standing in a very public place right outside Trinity Hospital. Numerous passersby calling say that there was a man waving a gun out there. So because of how it ended up, it brings thoughts to me of whether this could be a suicide by cop situation, whether there's a mental health issue here, or what the situation is. So I hope to get those answers, but we just don't have them yet.
Do you know if he was saying anything, or was he just waving the gun around?
From the initial reports that I got, I haven't heard that he was saying anything. I heard that there were young people on scooters passing by that were calling 911. There was an ambulance that passed by that I believe was trying to get to the hospital with a patient that called 911. So there are a lot of witnesses, which means we have detectives have a lot of individuals to talk to. So as you can see out here, it's a very active scene. A lot of Michigan State Police detectives. We're very thankful that they're still in cooperation with us. They do investigate our officer-involved shootings. They've been here for quite a while. Taking those investigative steps, there's a lot of forensic evidence to collect, and hopefully we'll get some answers for you guys.
Was anyone else involved or hurt?
At this time, it appears that this individual was not related to anybody else. He seemed to be a lone individual acting on his own. There's no bystanders that were injured. Of course, when there's gunfire in a downtown area, we have the officers canvass for even property damage to see if any buildings were hit. I do believe a vehicle or two were struck by gunfire. But also we want to make sure we do a thorough canvas, because bullets can travel a very far distance and still be deadly. So you'll see officers out and about for the next at least hour or two, just checking on local buildings, making sure if there's any residential buildings that they check in and connect with the people there.
Play this out for me. So you get the call, man waving a gun. What kind of gun?
The specific details of and I believe it was an ambulance crew that made the first 911 call, so they're used to dealing with very stressful situations as we are. Whereas a civilian might call in and have an adrenaline-fueled sort of ramble to a 911 call taker, and that call taker would have to work through to get more specific information from that individual. We got very clear directions that there was an individual armed with a handgun standing outside Trinity Hospital, waving it around. And so just that first information we had sounded like very credible information. And then when the additional 911 calls started coming in, obviously it heightened the level of fear. Along with schools, hospitals oftentimes across the country have been the scenes of tragic active shooter incidents. So that's certainly a fear that we have in hospitals such as this, with a 24-hour emergency room, susceptible to that sort of violence. So officers were here very quickly, and unfortunately it did end in tragedy for this individual.
How many GRPD officers were involved in the shooting?
I believe that there were three officers who discharged their weapons. I don't know if those three officers possibly were all riding in the same car, if they were split up 2 and 1, or if they were each in individual cars. I just haven't reached that level of understanding yet. I'm sure that information is out there, but I know that at least 3 officers discharged their firearms.
Did the suspect discharge their weapons?
I don't believe so.
What do you want to say to all of the people who made those calls? I mean, people on scooters, the hospital staff, for getting this fast?
Yeah, well, we certainly appreciate the care and compassion and cooperation of people in this city who I've seen in the 2.5+ years that I've been here has grown and grown and grown. And people want a safe city, and they deserve a safe city. And so when you see something like this, something that's so frightening to see an individual waving around a weapon outside in front of a hospital, definitely call 911 as soon as you can. I know that people are going to hear this story and see that it ended in tragedy, that this individual was killed. No police officers at this time are injured. But the truth is that this individual obviously took steps to really terrify the neighborhood here, individuals who are seeking to get medical care. So I think the feeling that I get from Grand Rapids is that we're all in this together, trying to make this a safer city. And one day at a time, I think we're making it a safer city. It is a tragic day anytime there's a loss of life. So I don't want to minimize that in any way, but certainly it was the right thing to do for everybody to step up and make those phone calls to us.
Can you just speak a little bit more to just public sense of safety? A lot of people witnessed this, and unfortunately ended in someone's death, which brings to mind for a lot of people, is my community safe? Is just to speak to general safety, what would you say to that?
Yeah, just speaking of general safety on a day like today, when we're talking about a human life that was lost, it's difficult for me to talk about statistics, but of course we've had seen our murder levels fall to a level that's certainly unheard of since I've been here. We're making excellent progress on gun violence, excellent progress on things like car theft, carjackings, things that drive other type of violence. So we're making progress. Grand Rapids statistically is a very, very safe city. So this is certainly an outlier that something like this would happen tonight. And I hope that we're not talking about this again ever. But again, when we're talking about a loss of life, it is difficult to talk about all the progress that we've made in making Grand Rapids a safer city, really together. Just like the people that were out, literally just, we heard one individual called in, said, I'm riding a scooter by the hospital and I see an individual waving a gun around. It's people like that who just realize that we're not going to let Grand Rapids, we're not going to let violent people, violent crime, gun violence be the norm in Grand Rapids. And so to see good people stand up is very heartwarming. Again, I don't know this individual who was killed tonight. I am very thankful that no Grand Rapids police officers were hurt, that no bystanders were hurt. But I do want to say, I'm not I'm very empathetic to individuals, whether this was a suicide by cop situation or a mental health situation or some other story, to have someone standing outside putting themselves in a situation for long enough that multiple people were calling 911 and that the police had time to show up and this individual was still there exhibiting behavior. There's obviously something else going on. So tonight my sympathy goes out to the family, which we'll be reaching out to as soon as we can make that connection.
Do you know, was the hospital locked down?
I don't know if the hospital was locked down or not. I think it all happened so very quickly. I don't even know if we were able to get to that point. I mean, as you can see from the location, it was such that when that young man was shot, I believe he was taken, just steps away into the emergency room there. So
he was taken into Trinity.
I believe he was. Yeah, that's my understanding.
And then he was later declared deceased?
Correct. Right.
And no threat to the public?
No threat to the public, no. Just this one individual is the only one involved. Yeah.